All right, real quick question. If you build a house in 1765, pack it with war trauma, rich people drama, and at least one extremely suspicious death, and then that house refuses to retire? That's not history. That's a grudge with plumbing. Today, we're talking about the Morris-Jumel Mansion, the oldest house in Manhattan, and living proof that some people die mad as hell and stay that way for 2 centuries. This is Caffeine, Chaos, and Cuss Words, the show where history gets caffeinated, unhinged, and occasionally told to shut the hell up. This is episode 12. I'm your host with the most, Sharon, and today we're absolutely not respecting the dead because they started it. The Morris-Jumel Mansion was built in 1765. That's before the Declaration of Independence, before electricity, before indoor plumbing, and somehow still before emotional resolution. George Washington used this place as a headquarters during the Revolutionary War, which means soldiers were here strategizing, stressing, and probably dying nearby, wondering why everything smelt like damp wool and impending doom. If ghosts are real, this house is a trauma smoothie. War, occupation, ego, money, power. You don't stack that much unresolved human nonsense into one building and expect it to turn into a calm museum gift shop. This house doesn't creak, it sighs with the weight of its own bad decisions. Now, let me introduce you to the woman who refuses to clock out, Eliza Jamel. Eliza didn't start rich, she clawed for it. She social climbed like it was an Olympic sport. She marries Stephen Jamel, a wealthy French merchant, and they buy the mansion together. Life is good, the furniture is expensive, but the money is flowing, and then Stephen dies. Officially, a carriage accident. Unofficially, historians stare at the staircase like it owes them money. Nobody's proven anything, but nobody's saying, wow, that death was totally chill and not weird at all. Eliza lives on, gets richer, and later marries Aaron Burr. Yes, that Aaron Burr. The guy who shot Alexander Hamilton and was the literal vice president. The house attracts drama like it's got fiber optic Wi-Fi. But here is the absolute best part. The kind of historical petty we should all aspire to be. Aaron Burr married Eliza when he was 77, and he immediately started spending her money to pay off his old debts. Eliza was a lot of things, but stupid with money wasn't one of them. She filed for divorce within months. And who did she hire as her divorce lawyer? Alexander Hamilton Jr. I mean, Shakespeare could not write a better tragedy. Imagine being Aaron Burr. You're disgraced, you're broke, and you're being sued for divorce by the son of the guy you killed in a duel. This is top tier chaos. The divorce was finalized on September 14th, 1836, which, in another final twist of the knife kind of way, was the exact same day Aaron Burr died. So when people say that they see Aaron Burr's ghost in the house, they aren't seeing a dignified founding father. They're seeing a guy who died disgraced, divorced, and haunted by the Hamilton family. Imagine dying and still hanging around your ex's place. Buddy, she noticed you. She sued you. Go towards the light. Eliza dies in 1865, and ever since, people report a woman in period clothing standing on staircases, radiating the energy of someone who is still running the damn place. Eliza didn't haunt the mansion, she just stayed on the payroll. Her first husband, Stephen Jamel, reportedly is still there. People claim to hear moaning and footsteps that basically sound like, "Sir, you're dead. Please stop lingering." And then there's, of course, the spirit of the divorced, disgraced Aaron Burr. All right, before we keep going and someone else dies suspiciously, I want to hear from you. If you've got a story, a theory, or a completely unhinged thought that made you sit here like, no one I know would ever believe this. That's my favorite kind of message. Email me at chaoscrewpod@gmail.com. Ghost stories, conspiracy theories, or that one thing that happened to you at 2 a.m. and that you still haven't processed, send it all. I'm collecting stories for future listeners' episodes. So make it weird, make it honest, and don't leave out the part where you realize that something was very wrong. All right, back to the madness. So, in addition to our three usual suspects, Eliza, Stephen, and Aaron, multiple people report seeing Revolutionary War soldiers inside the mansion. Men in uniform, just existing. Which tracks, because honestly, if you died stressed out in a war that you didn't understand, why wouldn't you haunt the house where it all went sideways? Then there's the servant girl on the third floor. This is said to be one of the most tragic and active spirits in the mansion, and the backstory is pure gothic drama. While her name has been lost to time, the details of her life and death are chillingly consistent. The story goes that she was a young maid living in the servants' quarters on the third floor. She fell deeply in love with a wealthy man. Some say it was a member of the family. Others say it was a frequent guest of the house. But because of the rigid class structures of the time, he either could not or would not marry her. Heartbroken and reportedly abandoned after their affair, she reached her breaking point. She didn't just die in the house. She jumped from the third floor window in the servants' quarters, falling to her death on the grounds below. While Eliza Jamel is known for running the place and yelling at tourists, the servant girl's energy is so much more heavier. People frequently report hearing the sounds of soft rhythm, crying, and low humming coming from the third floor when it's completely empty. Unlike the shadowy figures often seen in the halls, she is sometimes described as looking very solid, a young woman in a simple maid's uniform who vanishes the moment you realize she shouldn't be there. There is a famous story, often cited in New York City ghost lore, of a woman visiting the third floor who was so terrified by a direct encounter with this spirit that she supposedly suffered a heart attack. What's wild is that Eliza Jamel herself was once an indentured servant before she clawed her way to the top. You could argue that Eliza's ghost might be particularly protective or particularly hard on the servant girl who gave up, whereas Eliza fought until she was 90. Today, the mansion leans into its paranormal legacy. They host paranormal investigations. They've been on every ghost show you could ever binge. You can pay real money to walk around after dark while your brain asks, did that chair just move or am I just fragile? They give you gloves for the equipment, not for the emotional protection. Just vibes and regret. Here's the thing, whether you believe in ghosts or not, places remember. People come in angry, ambitious, and unresolved, and sometimes that energy doesn't pack up and leave politely. The Morris-Jumel Mansion isn't haunted because it's old. It's haunted because no one ever apologized. This has been Caffeine, Chaos, and Cuss Words. Stay caffeinated, stay curious, and stay chaotic. And if a house feels weird, maybe you should leave. If you've enjoyed this episode, follow the show and leave a review so more chaos gremlins can find us. Visit Linktree /chaos crew pod, that's linktr.ee/chaos crew pod, to find all the places you waste your time instead of doing your laundry. And of course, shout out to our sponsor, W Energy. Grab your W at w.gg and use our promo code Caffeine Crew for 10% off. I brought some into the warehouse once, turned us into a pack of feral, hyperproductive raccoons. We were unstoppable. This episode was written, narrated, and produced by yours truly. Until next time, this has been a Busy House production.